Right, right. I totally agree with that. I think that strategizing each step is very important because when you have goals, if you have big goals, the larger the goal is, the more steps there are to reach that goal, right? So, for
Yes,
example,
ma'am.
I moved here to Wisconsin, but in order to move to Wisconsin, I had to have enough money. I had to make sure that my car was ready, road ready. I had to make sure that all of my things were packed. Like each step that it took to get to Wisconsin was a smaller step in the larger part of that goal. So you do have to strategize if you want to be successful to reach the goals that you're creating for yourself. All right,
Absolutely.
so we're going to look at number 5, and this one is create contingency plans. And this is what I call always have a backup. And I was talking to Tawana about this the other day. I consider myself the backup queen. So the question is this: do you create backup plans? Because guess what? Sometimes your plans are not going to work out. In the best of worlds, no one's plans always work out, right? There's something that's always going to happen to throw a wrench in the woodwork. So what do you do to create backup plans?
Who are you asking?
Hello, Kay.
I can go. I create backup plans by just basically, it's depending on, the goal that I'm trying to go after. I try just to focus on the goal, and my backup plan more or less is how I'm going to alter that goal. Because if I'm going after it and I'm working for it so hard, that means I believe in it. So because I believe in it, it's going to succeed in my mind. So because we're not perfect, I know that if I don't succeed necessarily, it doesn't mean that it's not a bad idea. It just means that I didn't maybe execute it correctly, or maybe I just need to adjust it in little ways to make it that more successful.
And I can ditto that. See, because I am the exact same way. I had a few people before, a few friends, and I would say something to them in reference to what's plan B, and people get pissed off when you ask about what's plan B. But I'm like, okay, your backup plan, your alternate plan, your second plan, and plan B, well, to me, plan B is not, I'm going to give myself a way out if plan A doesn't work. But just like Kay was saying, what's the alternative? So I am exactly the same way. And I'm the type of person also, I know that, number one, a delay does not mean a denial. It still can happen. It just may not happen how I want it to or when I want it to. And for 2, sometimes we got to improvise. Sometimes you can't get 10. You just got to get 5 for right now. Maybe you can get 3 more later. So I'm definitely all about improvising as well. And even there was something that I wanted to do in December of last year, and I really wasn't able to do it until around March. And I talked to a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you still were going to do that." And I said, "Well, why not? It was delayed, but it wasn't going to stop me from doing it." And that's just an example of what I mean. Sometimes when people can't do quote unquote what they actually want to do when they want to do it, they just might not do it at all. But if you're serious about it, you really, really want it, you're going to find a way to make it happen.
I think so. That's how I live my life. I definitely go after what I want, and I figure out a way to make it happen.
Right.
And
So when I go ahead and create backup plans, what I do is I try to make sure, A, that I have enough money to do it, B, that I have somebody that I can lean on for support in the event of an emergency, and C, if there is no other way to overcome the situation, how can I flow with the situation? So that's kind of how I create my backup plans. So we're going to move on to number 6, to stay positive. This can be difficult, but staying positive is essential when you are pushing through difficult times. Depression can and will weigh you down, sap your energy and resolve, and make it feel as though everything is impossible and nothing will get better. So what actions do you guys take to stay positive? Do you surround yourself with positive messaging? Do you get therapy or medical assistance to address any mental health needs? Do you listen to positive messaging? What do you do to stay positive? Corinne, you go first.
I surround myself with positive people. I try not to watch negative programming. Well, I try because I do watch reality TV. But I try to actually like take a positive approach on the majority of things in life. And what I do is try to keep a positive attitude.
What about you, Tawanda?
I really feel everything that she said. And just to elaborate, that associations are everything. So I make sure I keep positive and progressive people around me. Personal development is also everything. Feeding my mind daily, and anything and all things that are positive, as well as having a balanced life, doing self-care and self-love, and all those positive things to get good energy and to give good energy. Those are the things that continue to keep me going.
All right. So what I do to try and stay positive is I try to listen to, what is it called? You know, those people on YouTube that give you encouraging messages and motivational speakers. That's what they're called. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I listen to, what is his name, Les Williams or Les something, and Bob Proctor. Les Brown. Thank you, Tawanda. I could not remember his name. I listen to Les Brown.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome. I don't know if you've heard that. Of course, I know you've heard that one speech he did about being hungry.
That's my favorite one. And actually, I got a friend that allowed me to talk to him today, too. So I'll be telling you about that later. But yeah, he's incredible.
What? You spoke to Les Brown today?
Via a conference call about a magazine. Yes, ma'am. But anyway, that's another story. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm excited. Anyway, so this is what I do to try and stay positive. I listen to motivational speakers. I try to read positive things, whether it's inspirational quotes, whether it's scripture, listening to positive music, listening to things that are going to get me going and get me excited and productive and on the road. Sometimes it can be hard, sometimes it gets stressful, but you really do have to stay positive. Otherwise, you can get bogged down. And for those out there who are struggling with staying positive, you're struggling with, depression or anxiety or any type of mood disorder, it is really, really important that you get yourself the assistance that you need, whether it's a therapy group or a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, whatever it is. You need to make certain that you take care of yourself so that you can get the assistance that you need, because sometimes you get so deep in it that it's hard to get out by yourself, and sometimes it can become impossible to get out by yourself. So you need to get that assistance to make sure that you stay safe and healthy. And that will lead us into our number 7, get support. It's important to remember that none of us is an island. No one can walk this life completely alone, whether it's friends, family, a group, therapy, a support network, or a religion. We all need some type of support that will help us through our most. So the question here is, do you have a network of support? How do you reach out for support when you need it? Corinne, you go first.
Maybe I don't like I should. I have like maybe 1 or 2 people that I would confide in, but I don't necessarily do.
So that when you're down or you need to vent, like what do you do to keep yourself healthy and staying okay?
Well, confide in the 2 people that I do trust.
Okay, so if you have 1 or 2 people, that's still a network of support. Like whether it's 1 person or 2 people, as long as you have someone that you can go to, that's still considered a network of support, right?
Yes.
So do you make sure that you do reach out for support when you need it, or do you sort of tough it out like, oh, I can do this? Because I do that sometimes.
It depends on the situation. I usually thug it out and just basically wait until I resolve it in my own head, and then I'll share.
Okay. Tawanda, what about you? Do you have a network of support, and how do you reach out for support when you need it?
I'm thugging it out 95% of the time. Really because we talked about friendships one time, being a giver, being a taker, having balanced friendships. Number one, people are really going through stuff themselves. Number two, people are apathetic. Number three, sometimes people don't even know how to really listen. So I pace myself. I think about it. I plan, and I just normally figure it out. Every now and then, I will maybe call someone or text someone and kind of vent or complain, but that really doesn't happen too often. I've just never been that type person. I mean, I think it's good to have. I think it's good to even do. I'm just not. That's just really not my thing, though. Not that often.
Okay. So what do? You said you tough it out. There's not even one person that you should go to in a time of need. Oh, you thug it out.
What now?
Nice. So there's not one person that you can think of that you would go to in a time of need?
Oh no, there's a couple. Probably about 2 or 3 people that I would go to if I had to. But normally, with me being the oldest of 3 children, with living how I've lived, and just coming from a certain type of family, I've always been that person that people depend on, regardless of what is happening in the world with everyone else. Hey, we know that you're good. We know that you're okay. So you kind of become immune to it, if that makes sense. So there's probably maybe like 1, 2, or 3 people that I would go to with something if I really had to. But I really want to do it by myself, preferably. Probably not the healthiest way. It just kind of works for me.
Got you. I think that over time, I think I used to have a larger network of support, but over time I have learned to be more self-sufficient because experiences have taught me that, you know, sometimes in the time of your deepest need, people will fail you. And so I've had to become far more self-sufficient than I have been in my past. And while it can be painful to experience that, you know, when you really need some help, no one's there and you sort of have to, like Tawanda says, thug it out. That can be a painful experience the first couple times you go through it because you're expecting, well, I've been there for these people, or I've been there for all these people. Why is no one there for me? So that can be a painful experience the first time you go through it, and then you just sort of build up armor and you get over it and you just keep pushing. So I do have 1 or 2 people that I can go to, and at the same time, I don't make that my end-all, be-all of the backup plans because, you know, like Tawanda said, people have their own problems. People have their own issues. I do try to reach out for support if I need it, but I never say, okay, I'm going to go to this one person, and if they can't help me, I'm screwed. I don't do that. I'll go to 3 different people and see which one of them can help me. And if they all can help me, then I'll choose, you know, the one that I know is going to have my back the most over, you know, someone who might resent me for asking for the help. Because you also have to keep that in mind. Some people will feel like you owe them, and you want to be able to pay people back or to respond in kind. But some people will almost hold a grudge against you for helping you. So you want to be mindful of that too. So we're going to move on to number 6. I'm
going to go to break really quickly.
Oh, okay. All right, let's do that.
Hello, this is Corinne with today's new training story. On a positive note, Raven Simone introduced the world to her wife. The 34-year-old Raven Simone recently privately got married to her girlfriend Miranda Madej. Congrats to the happy new couple, and happy Father's Day to the dads out there. Now back to you.
Okay, thank you for that break, Corinne. That was a bit of news there. When I first heard of it, I was surprised. I didn't know Raven had gotten married. So congratulations to Raven and best wishes. So number 8, we're going to go to grab any and every opportunity. There is no shortage of opportunities to make money and succeed out there. While it may seem that there is a lack, especially in 2020,